What is going on, friends? This is Matt Carter, that YouTube Realtor, and today I'm going to be going over a monthly update for the month of April 2022. We're into May now, we're past the first quarter, and some numbers are pretty shocking for a lot of people. Some things we were seeing towards the beginning of the year and the end of last year, we're not really seeing it anymore. So let's dive right into those numbers. So let's just start off with the big one, the one that everybody is talking about, and it's the average price of a house in London. Right now, we're sitting just over $747,000 for the average priced home, which is a 7.4% drop since last month. Now, this is a massive drop off in price. Last month, we were looking at an average price of just over $800,000, and we were still seeing a bunch of activity on the market, although slowing down a little bit as we got into the spring. But a 7.4% drop is the largest drop that we have seen month to month in London in quite some time. If you look back, we have seen some similar trends happening like we are seeing right now. We're getting into the spring and the summer market. There's a ton more listings getting put on the market. So we do generally see a little bit of a slowdown in terms of pricing with buyers having more options out there. Historically, we're seeing, last couple of years, a 5.4 and a 5% drop over the last 2 years. So definitely, it's not out of trend by any means, but it's still an absolutely huge number when you see a $50,000 drop in average price in the city over 1 month. So let's get into some of those big reasons why we're seeing these numbers and we're seeing a big drop off like we saw over the last month. So in the month of April, we saw 1,175 new listings hit the market, which is an absolutely massive number. It is all-time high for April, and for many months, I believe it's an all-time high we've ever seen actually in the city of London. So a lot more homes hitting the market. There's still the buyers out there, but now they have a ton more options to choose from. That led to 737 active listings being left on the market at the end of the month, and leading to a months of inventory number of 1.2. And, I say it every month, months of inventory is a pretty good indicator of what type of market we're in. 1.2 months means that if no more homes hit the market and they were sold at the current rate they're currently selling for, we would have 1.2 months left until all of that inventory was gone. So this is still a relatively low number if you're looking at comparing what's a buyer's market, what's a seller's market. We're still firmly ingrained in a seller's market, but we are up about half a month's worth of inventory that since the previous month of March. So definitely trending in the right direction to get towards that more balanced market. Homes are lasting on average one more day on market than they were last month, so still looking just over a week for average days on market, which is pretty low relatively speaking. And we are still seeing a sales to list price ratio of about 115%. So meaning that on average, homes are selling for about 15% more than they are listed for. This is down a bit from where we were seeing the last couple months. It was up in the 120 range, maybe even as high as 130 at some point. But so we are seeing a little bit of a softening in that. But as you can see, houses are still selling for much more than they're actually listed at. The competition is still very fierce out there, but instead of seeing 12, 15, sometimes 20 offers on a single property, we're maybe seeing anywhere from, the 3 to 6 range now. So as I said, there are various factors that are contributing to this drop in price and the kind of leveling off, so to speak, of the market. But by no means are we out of the woods of getting into a buyer's or a balanced market. I think another agent said it really well. We were going 200 kilometers an hour and we've just pulled back a little bit and we're going 150 now. So it's still crazy out there. We are definitely seeing the impact of the interest rates being increased over the last few months. I think it is kind of scaring away a few people from getting into the market, or they might be just sitting still and seeing what happens to the market, seeing if it does slow down a bit before actually making any move with the uncertainty behind it. We have also seen a decrease in activity from the GTA buyers. Now, I don't really have any statistics based on that, but that's just based on my own experience as well as my other colleagues that work in the field. Definitely not seeing as many people, as many of the selling agents on these properties being from the GTA. So that is definitely going to be a contributing factor to these prices softening a little bit. So these numbers definitely came as a little bit of a shock to me. Like I said, we are used to seeing a little bit of a drop in these months around the beginning of the spring and into the summer. We do see a softening in the market. There's a lot more listings hitting the market and things kind of equalize a little bit. But the 7.4 drop was definitely a bit of a shock for me. I was expecting anywhere between that 4 and 5% that we had normally seen. So I think I mentioned in one of my last videos, I don't think price is going to drop too much. So that 50 grand is definitely quite a bit of a hit. But I don't think we've seen the end of these increased prices. I don't think we're gonna continue going down the way we did this past month in the following months as well. Like I mentioned, I think we're gonna see a little bit of a leveling off and then another leg up in the second half and the fourth quarter of the year as well. We're still seeing a ton of competition. There's still the demand is very high for these houses, on average going 15% above list price. So it's definitely still competitive and the drive is still there from the buyers. It's just that there's a little more options on the market for them at the moment. So if you are looking to get into the market anytime soon, now may be a good time before we kind of get that next leg up, in my opinion. We are definitely seeing some houses last more past their offer date, going into the 2 weeks, some even into the 3-week time frame where they're sitting around. So there's going to be some more flexibility potentially on those list prices and what you can potentially get them for. Also, you may be avoiding a bunch of competition on those houses that have been sticking around for a bit. On the selling side of things are still competitive. If you do your homework, do your marketing properly, and your agent is doing everything that they can in order to sell your house, people are still getting top value for their house. We may have seen a little bit of a drop since last month, but at the same time, it's incredibly hard to time the very top of a market. Whether you're in the stock market or the real estate market, it's incredibly hard to time the very top. So as long as you're making money out of your house, if that's your goal, or you're hitting certain dollar amounts that you need to make for your house, you're still going to be in a good position to put your house up for sale. But just make sure it's not as easy as just throwing your house on Realtor.ca, putting some listing photos and putting a sign up on the lawn. You have to make sure that your listing agent is doing everything in their power to market that property so as many people are seeing that house and you can potentially get the most money for that property. So that's about it for me today. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you think we're going to continue seeing this downtrend? We're going to continue seeing things kind of drop off in terms of pricing? Or do you think this is maybe a blip? Or, I'd love to hear what your thoughts are. So let me know in the comments below. So again, if you found value to any of this content, make sure you pass it along to anybody you think would value from it as well. And if you haven't already, please take a quick second to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. It really helps me out. I appreciate it a lot. It drives me to continue making this content and helps out with that YouTube algorithm as well. So stay tuned for all my videos that come up every single week. And until then, take care.